To all the anti-hunters out there, the guys that are completely against it because of whatever reason it might be, I hear you, and you're right. And on behalf of the entire hunting community, the true outdoorsmen that are out there, I'm sorry. If your only exposure to the hunting community, to the outdoor industry, to the guys and gals that participate in conservation every day of their lives is what you've seen here on the internet, whether it's here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, doesn't matter. If that's all you've seen and consumed, then you've probably got the wrong idea about who we are as conservationists. In today's video, I'm not trying to argue with you as the anti-hunter. And at the same time, I'm not trying to pat you as the hunter on the back and tell you that what you're doing is somehow superior than the next guy. I simply want to address a few things that I see in the day-to-day life of hunting and social media and all around bad information. It's time we have a conversation, and it's a conversation that neither side wants to have, but I believe that we need to have this conversation. Listen, I get it. I understand that the thought of taking the life of another animal is uncomfortable, and it brings a lot of anxiety and a lot of angst, and sometimes there's a lot of people who are willing to fight you over the fact that all lives are of the same value and that everything deserves the same respect as the next species, and I completely agree. I am not saying that an animal's life is any more or less valuable than that of a human being. I could get on to religious debates, I could get on to political debates, I could get on to so many things, but today that is not the time or the place for it. I will acknowledge the fact that a living creature deserves respect. And honestly, when I see hunters that when they take a life, it doesn't make them pause and feel just the slightest bit of remorse, that does concern me a little bit. If you do not have some sort of emotional value in your body other than joy when you are in the end successful in harvesting an animal, then there's probably a bigger and deeper issue that we need to discuss. But the truth is that a true woodsman, a true conservationist, a true hunter is not blood hungry. We're not out here solely for the kill. Now, yes, I am not going to just completely glaze over the fact that there is this primal instinct in us of superiority, or whatever you want to call it, that feels a sense of accomplishment when we do successfully harvest an animal. However, that is not the end goal. We're not out here with a bloodlust. We're not inherently chasing death, but we are part of this system, part of this creation that we had no part in creating in and of ourselves. At the end of the day, the circle of life is simply that. We live, we die, we eat, we consume, so on and so forth, and it happens to all species. Regardless of what you believe, it will always take life to sustain life. Now, if you're vegan and you're vegetarian, you might argue against me. And I'm not saying that you're wrong for being vegan or vegetarian, so please don't take that the wrong way. But regardless, it still takes the life of that plant to give you life, to give you nourishment, to continue and sustain your well-being. Granted, it didn't have blood running through its veins, and it didn't have a heartbeat or a mental consciousness, but regardless, it still took that life to sustain you. So although you might disagree with the practices in which that I like to go out and harvest my food and go out and sustain my family, I am still contributing to a circle that is inevitably going to happen. But even with all of that said, hunting is not about the killing aspect of it. It is about the responsibility and the well-being of nature and wildlife as a whole. Now, this next topic I'm going to touch on, as an anti-hunter, you've heard 1,000 times over, and you're going to roll your eyes at me. But the reality is that you do not see the thousands and thousands of hours that us true outdoorsmen and hunters and conservationists put in to the wildlife that we pursue. You don't see the money and the love and the care and the nurturing that we provide. I think to myself as a turkey hunter and the hours and the dollars that I spend into investing into habitat that benefits not only the turkey, but every other wild animal that lives out there in these woods that I hunt in. Meanwhile, I can go to any sort of PETA foundation or building and look at the acres upon acres that they have ruined and the habitat that they've destroyed, and inevitably the lives that they have took from these animals, because if the animals don't have the habitat, then they don't have life, plain and simple. When we as hunters go and support the animals that we pursue, whether it's deer, ducks, turkey, bear, the list goes on, we benefit and affect the entire ecosystem around the animal, from the songbirds to the bugs in the creeks and everything in between. The dollars that we invest, the time that we spend into contributing to the benefits and the well-beings of these animals, it affects every animal that we come across. I get it. You think that when we take a life, it automatically trumps the fact that we care for the life, but you couldn't be any further from the truth. I can guarantee you without a shadow of a doubt, a true outdoorsman, a true hunter, a true woodsman cares more about the life of every species of every animal than you as the anti-hunter will ever even be able to fathom. To us, this isn't just a cause that we speak about when we see something going against what we believe in. To us, this is our lives. This is the entire thing that makes up our existence, and we spend every waking moment of every single day trying to better the well-being of the animals around us. Now look, I get it. You're an anti-hunter, and you go on to someone like mine Facebook page and you see me posted up with the carcass of a dead animal, and all you think to yourself is, this is just some blood-hungry redneck who needs to go and get his rocks off holding another animal's body. And I understand why that might be distasteful to you. But you have to pause and reflect and understand that, to me, I want to honor that animal and understand that that animal inevitably paid the ultimate price. That way I could sustain life and continue this circle of life. But to me, it's not about a photo. It's not about a highlight reel. It's not about the videos that I post here on the internet. That is not what it is about. That is how I share and communicate to the other true woodsmen and the other true conservationists. And that's how we build and how we create a tighter community, so that way we can preserve the future of not only hunting, but all wildlife. The reality is, those photos and those videos, it encaptures something that all true hunters can relate to. The things that maybe aren't highlight reel worthy, such as the quiet mornings sitting in a tree stand reflecting on all the things in life and being able to come to terms with the negative that happens in the world around us, whether it's from human beings or from politics or from wars, rumors of wars, whatever it might be. Those quiet mornings, those getaways that we can just escape and become one with the nature around us. You don't see in those photos and these videos that are on the internet of all the animals that we pass for whatever reason. You don't see us enjoying a fawn walking through a meadow and enjoy the beauty of what that represents. You don't see us sitting here and protecting young animals from predators, that way that they can live and maybe become something greater and pass on their bloodline. You don't see all the times that I don't pull the trigger. You only see the few times that I do, and I am quote unquote successful. When I do harvest an animal, and when I do take that photo and proudly post it to the internet, it's not something that I am doing lightly. It is not something that I am doing with a bloodthirsty heart. It is something that I am doing with the highest respect to the animal whose life that I just took. Now, yes, anti-hunters, there are a lot. And I'm not saying there's a few bad apples. There are a lot of bad apples out here in this hunting world. There are the illegal poaching kind who go out and just shoot anything, anywhere, any time of day. There are the kind who go out there and they're blood hungry and they want to just go out there and shoot as much as they can so they can take those Instagram photos. There are those who are out there who are just absolutely tarnishing the name of what hunting truly is. And to all of you true outdoorsmen and women, we are responsible for stopping that. Do I have the answer on how we stop that? No, I don't. But we have to come together collectively as a hunting community with the anti-hunters and understand that yes, there are a bunch of bad people out there doing bad things. There are people that are ruining the name of hunting and conservation, and it is our responsibility as the hunter, not the anti-hunter, to go out there and stop these people from doing what they are doing. Whether it's supporting your local DNR or investing more into education, whatever it is, I do not know. And it is up to us to start having these conversations so we can prevent these bad apples from continuing to grow. We as the hunter should not defend these folks. Now listen, I believe wholeheartedly, and I've said it time and time again on my channel, that as a hunter, you should be able to hunt however you want as long as it's legal and ethical. Those are the key factors right there. If we take the legality and the ethics out of hunting at that point in time, the anti-hunters are correct 100% of 100 times. We should not defend them, plain and simple. We should be right on board with the anti-hunters every single time that arises. We have to stop with this narrative of hunters versus anti-hunters. We have to stop with the narrative of this is right or this is wrong, and we have to come to terms with the fact that both sides have arguments. Both groups, both the anti-hunters and the hunters alike, need to come together and find a common ground to find the betterment of all wildlife. We need to stand against things such as habitat loss, and we need to stand against things such as the poaching community. We need to stand together and create a better wildlife for all folks. Hunters, it is not our responsibility to get anti-hunters into the hunting world. There are some people who will never be okay with the thought of taking the life of an animal. And guess what? They are not wrong. However, anti-hunters, you do not need to come at the hunting community and tell them how they are inherently wrong for doing something that their primitive instinct has drove them to do for years. If we could all come together and just walk on our side of the fence and then pluck the weeds off of that fence line that are straddling it, we could all coexist in a world where wildlife ends up benefiting as a whole. The truth is, true woodsmen and anti-hunters both want the same thing at the end of the day. We want a flourishing ecosystem. We want a better life for all wildlife. We want to see wildlife flourish and multiply, and we want a future where all of this still exists. We don't want to be walking around in a concrete jungle where we don't get to hear a songbird on a spring morning. We all want the same thing if we really think about it. Just because we approach these goals from different sides of the playing field does not mean that we're not all going to meet at the 50-yard line. We all want to see the betterment of wildlife. Anti-hunters, they want to do it through peace, love, and never taking a life. And hunters, we want to do it from research, time invested into nature, and giving back. So yes, to the anti-hunting community, I get it. I understand that there are problems out here. I understand that bad things are happening in the hunting community every single day. But don't write all of us as hunters off just yet. Maybe, just maybe, you can use us to your benefit and to the benefit of the wildlife that you so care about. And to my fellow hunters out there who just seem to bash anti-hunters every chance they get, maybe it's time for us to come together with them and use them for not only our benefit, but the benefit of these animals that we so love to hunt. To both groups, if you want respect and you want your voices to be heard, you have to give respect and listen to the voices that are talking to you. It's up to all of us to come together for the benefit of wildlife. I hope you took something good away from this video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, see you on the hill.